Good evening, everybody, for a quick, I promise you tonight's going to be quick, maximum half an hour, because I promised my kids I would go and hang out with them before they go to sleep. Today, following on from last night's live stream, I want to start with something. Before we get into the reaction to the 45p tax cut, hi Benjamin, I want to just share with you some feedback that I've had today from an industry colleague, someone in the property industry. And I want to read you what he said to me because I want to make sure. So whenever I get harsh criticism, but it's meant constructively, I never just dismiss it. I always check whether there's any truth in it. So I want to ask you guys if there's any truth in what he's saying. If anyone thinks there's any truth in what he's saying. So this is Russell Quirk, who's a well-known character in the property industry. He was an estate agent for a long time. He started an online estate agent that was competing with Purple Bricks called eMove, which unfortunately went bust. I don't think it was unfortunate because I don't like online estate agents. He now runs a very successful property PR business. But I have very different views from him on the property industry. Anyway, on last night's live stream, in the comments underneath it on LinkedIn, where he saw it, he said the following: "You are a dangerous man, Charlie. I know you think you're giving good advice. However, this sort of sensationalist narrative was peddled by experts pre-Brexit and again as the pandemic hit, and cost first-time buyers over £50,000 as prices rose and those that waited missed out. Telling people to suspend their purchases, which I did last night, and even pull out if they're due to exchange tomorrow, ? Sensationalist rubbish. You're trying to look indispensable in your advice. However, in truth, it's shoddy and irresponsible." So whenever I get feedback like that, my first thing is I don't get emotional about it. It doesn't upset me. I've risen above being triggered by that kind of stuff. I actually try and ask myself, is there any truth in it? Is there any truth in what he's saying? And let's just assume hypothetically for a minute that, because he says I'm dangerous and I could be costing first-time buyers £50,000 and I'm peddling sensationalist rubbish and it's shoddy and irresponsible. Okay, I'm going to consider for a minute that he's telling the truth. So if he's saying I am dangerous because first-time buyers could be missing out on rising property prices, and he's right, well, I would rather that be the danger than the opposite, which is telling people to carry on buying when I think the market's going to fall, and then they end up having their home repossessed when they can't keep up their mortgage payments on it and are in negative equity. So given the choice between what Russell's saying, which is I'm being dangerous by telling first-time buyers to suspend or pull out of their deals, and you might risk missing a rising market, that to me is a smaller risk than the risk I'm trying to avoid, which is people having their homes repossessed because they bought at the very top of the market and then lost them when the bank repossessed them in negative equity and end up with a debt around your neck, which was through no fault of yours, you're saddled with for the rest of your life. I think that's more dangerous than missing out on £50,000 when you're trying to buy and it's going up. So, I mean, yeah, obviously I believe what I'm saying. And, you know, he posted this. Russell is a friend of mine, okay? He and I disagree on a lot of stuff, but he's a top bloke. He's very funny. He's a very successful PR guy. And he's very passionate about what he does. So, but if anyone felt like giving him your point of view about what my information is like, he's on Twitter. He's always up for a debate and a challenge. He's very professional. He doesn't get personal about it. But, you know, Russell Quirk, he's got a quirky name. It won't be difficult to find on Twitter. Let him know if you think that what I'm doing is more dangerous, or telling people to buy when there potentially could be negative equity. Sorry, yeah, we'll mess up. Anyway, you hear what I'm saying, right? Onwards. And Russell, if you're watching this, I look forward to our next beer together. But I hear what you say. I'm considering it, and even if you're right, I'd rather risk someone losing out 50,000 quid because they didn't buy than losing their house because it got repossessed. So that's why I hear what you say. I respectfully reject it and continue on. Okay, so today it's Monday. Last night I had over 1,000 concurrent viewers on my live stream last night between TikTok and YouTube. So thank you, guys. Welcome to all my new subscribers since yesterday. There's a whole bunch of you. I'm Charlie Lambden. This is Moving Home with Charlie, and I'm here to help home movers. I don't do buy-to-let advice. I don't do investment advice. I'm here to help home movers. My mission is a home for everyone one day, and in the short term, that includes avoiding people losing their homes. Now, yesterday, my advice, and I'll totally admit this, it sounded pretty sensationalist. It did, because I actually think we're in extraordinary times. And I think that when you are in extraordinary times, then it is sensational, isn't it, Russell? It is sensational. What's happening in the money markets is sensational. So, and again, I didn't tell anybody to do anything. I explained what I would do if I was a first-time buyer in this situation. And I said that I would recommend suspending for at least 7 days to see what happens this week. And that advice stands 24 hours later. Okay, so we've had the first day back at work, back in the markets. And first thing that happened was a surprise. Very early this morning, big surprise. They rescinded that 45p tax bracket drop, and they did a U-turn on that. And yeah, I didn't see that coming, because they were both, I mean, even Liz Truss just a few hours earlier on Sunday night was saying, we are sticking to it, we're not backing down. So I'm on the tea tonight, not the beer, because I'm still nursing. It's day 2 of a hangover. Happens when you get older. That was a surprise. And I thought, oh. But I very quickly realized that actually it's, I think I called it a trivial platitude, and I still think that's a good description of it. It represented less than 5% of the mini budget promises. So it really doesn't solve the problem of the unfunded tax cuts, which are what have spooked the money markets. Okay, so the question I've been asked a lot today is, Charlie, does the 45p U-turn change your position on what's happening? The answer is, I've had all day to think about it, and I can confidently say, no, it doesn't change anything. Because the number one reason that house prices are now going to suffer is not to do with anything more than the mortgage, what I call the rolling roadblock for first-time buyer mortgages yesterday. Okay, and I've got a few things to go through today, right? Including help to buy. I've had questions because help to buy comes to an end at the end of this month, and I'm going to answer that question as well. So the number one reason that house prices are going to fall a lot, I don't know exactly how far or how fast, but right now they're going to be falling a lot, is because of the 60% drop in mortgage products available compared to before the mini budget. Okay, it's nothing to do with whether first-time buyers want to buy or not. They can't. Left, right, and centre, first-time buyers are having their offers, their mortgage in principle offer removed, and they're having offers revalued and moved down. And so there is a mortgage lending crisis. That's what's happening now. That's why property is going to drop. Now, I also yesterday talked about the potential of a leadership challenge in the Tory party. And there is actually on Twitter, go and check it out. Oh, I've lost it now. I'll put it in the link afterwards in the show, right? There is a Tory party peer who is saying that the 1922 committee are going to be working out how to remove Liz Truss as soon as possible. Okay, they'll have to change their own rules to do it, but they can do that. And he is basically predicting that there is going to be a leadership challenge. He didn't say exactly when, but he said the cabal is coming. So I think we've still got political uncertainty ahead. 4 o'clock this afternoon, the Chancellor gave his speech, and other than acknowledging what he called a little bit of turbulence as a result of the mini budget, which got a he joked about it, there's nothing new, absolutely nothing new at all. So it definitely feels calmer today, but that's not difficult given last week, right? Today felt calmer, but then I read in the money market. So let me show you this. Here we go. This is an article on Bloomberg this evening. There's dual damage that's been done while the U-turn saves 2 billion, it's actually one of the smaller elements of the much larger unfunded package, and so it doesn't alter the fundamental flaw that the sums don't add up. Okay? And so we are, I think that we are right now, the slight calm today. I don't think it's been calm in estate agents' offices today, but in the money markets, the relative calm is. I think we've had a major tremor. I think we're in the gap between this and whatever the next tremor is, and either the next tremor is going to be the big earthquake, or there'll be another tremor, and then the bigger earthquake is to come. I think. Don't be fooled by the relative calm today. Another way of looking at it is the hurricane moved through last week, and now it's gone all calm, but that's just because we're in the eye of the storm, and the other side is to come. I could be wrong. Everything could be fine. Like my friend Russell says, it's just a blip. Everything's going to be fine. Well, if I'm wrong and he's right, Russell, I'll be very happy. For those of you who do take a close interest in what's happening in the money markets, there is a lot of there are a lot of nerves and jitters in the market. There is a very large investment bank, two of them, showing signs of being very wobbly, Credit Suisse and Deutsche Bank. I don't know too much about this. I've just seen the articles about it. But there are jitters there. There are much wider concerns in the economy in general, nothing to do with the UK or the budget in the UK. And so the whole thing feels very fragile. And that if anybody just went boo, it's going to all come tumbling down a little bit. So nothing that's happened today, it's Monday. So I said yesterday, wait 7 days. That advice stands. I'm not saying pull out if you are due to exchange. I'm not saying pull out. I'm saying just wait is what I would do. Don't do it because I said so. If you want to exchange, go ahead and exchange. But just as long as you understand the risks that you're taking. I'm not saying to anyone pull out of a transaction. Don't lose a deal you don't want to lose. But I would not be pushed or rushed into exchanging right now, because I think certainly this week, maybe the week after, we're going to see this all coming out in the wash. Now, I had a few people using the Help to Buy scheme, which new applications for that end on the 31st of October, so just not just about 3-4 weeks away, saying, what about us? Should we be waiting? Okay. If you go ahead and buy now, my warning is that you are buying at the top of the market, and that if you end up in a perfect storm of losing your job, your fixed rate period coming to an end, and your house prices having fallen, you will be at risk of having your home repossessed and being saddled with a debt that's no fault of yours because house prices came down. If you are okay with that risk, by all means, be my guest, go ahead, exchange. Because some of you will be. You'll be like, you know what? We'll roll the dice. We know about that risk and we'll take it. Then crack on. If you found a property that you love, you can't wait to get into it, you don't want to lose the deal, you've acknowledged the risks, crack on and get in there, okay? But for the sake of a 7-day delay on your exchange, that's what I'm saying, I would just be waiting if it was me. I would just be waiting. And in any case, I think a lot of buyers are having their mortgages pulled. Maybe there are some buyers saying their mortgages pulled as an excuse to back out as well. I've heard that story today. Either way, it's not unreasonable for buyers to be either renegotiating, reconsidering, delaying, or pulling out right now, because we are facing the most uncertain economic future and likely recession. We're facing pretty rough times. Okay, so okay. So the question I get a lot is, can mortgage companies pull mortgage offers? Right. Any mortgage brokers watching this, please correct me immediately in the comments if I get this wrong. A mortgage in principle is not a mortgage offer, and they can pull it any time because it's dependent on all kinds of stuff. A mortgage offer, which is after they've done a survey on the property and they've given you a quote, a rate, and your monthly repayments, can only be pulled if, and the phrase I saw was, there is a material change. I don't know what they mean by material change, but I think it's a catch-all phrase that means if there's a material change, if anything that they think is a material change means that they can pull their offer. Okay, I have heard a lot of people saying that and there's another mortgage in between that. So it's after the mortgage in principle. It's a quote, but that allows you to go out and buy, and they save your rate for a while. I think but it's subject to survey. I don't think there's anything stopping them pulling that whenever they want. Okay, so Slashing Bison, let's take some comments. Slashing Bison says, as a first-time buyer, we have to buy our house now because of a number of factors. First-time buyers are finding it near impossible to get on the ladder, so we can't miss this opportunity too. Okay, I don't know what your figures are. I think, did you say in an earlier comment you got a 95% mortgage? Right. If you've got a 5-year fixed rate or longer, and you're very confident that you can afford those mortgage payments, and you don't need to move in that time, then crack on, jump on the ladder. The prices may fall. It won't matter if you're not moving. But as long as you acknowledge, Slashing Bison, the risk that if 2 or 3 years from now, jobs are lost or for whatever reason you can't pay your mortgage, right, and your home gets repossessed and the value of your property has dropped by 20% from today, and you had a 95% mortgage, and the bank sells your property for 20% less than you're paying for it today, 15% of the value of the property that you're buying now will be a debt round your neck until you have paid it back. If you are comfortable with that risk, crack on and buy. Right. Okay. Oh, I think, yeah. So you know you're going to be negative equity, but you've got very reliable jobs. So as long as you keep your wages coming in, it's okay. Absolutely. Absolutely. For people buying in the next few months, Sarah Rimmer, do you suggest pushing exchange and completion on the same day to avoid risk of lender pulling out after deposit is paid? I don't think you need to check with your conveyancer. I don't think they can back out after you've exchanged. I don't think a mortgage company can back out after you've exchanged. I'm pretty sure that that's the case. I'm not 100% certain. You'd need to check with a mortgage broker or with a conveyancer, but I don't think so. You don't need to push for the same day exchange and completion. Austin Wilkes, just put my flat on the market. You have to move as it's a 1-bed and you're having a baby. Congratulations. Not had a single viewing in the last 2 weeks. It's on for 240. I bought it for 230 2 years ago. Should I lower? Austin, yes. If you need to sell it now, I mean, the problem is, Austin, you are in a situation where first-time buyers who might be typical buyers for your flat are just going to be unable to proceed in the coming weeks until this turmoil is sorted out. So, but when the mortgage market comes back and the new level is found and interest rates are higher, you should start to get viewings again. But yes, I mean, without knowing anything else about your property, you've got no choice but to drop your price if you want to sell it sooner rather than later. Faz Hamid, unfortunately, my buyer pulled out, understandably. Very cool of you to be understanding about that. So we can't proceed with our own purchase. That's sad. Sorry to hear that. Now I'll remortgage, as I think we'll wait till things cool down before attempting to sell again. Okay. Good luck. Anyone got questions for me? You got a question? You got a B2B company mortgage agreement. What's a B2B company mortgage agreement? For 3.4%. What's your question, Rashid? There's no question there. You're exchanging Friday, 3.4%, 5 years. How would we know? That's a good. Okay, so gluten-free vegan project on TikTok says, how would we know if the place we are buying is worth less in 7 days? Okay, well, that opens up a whole can of worms on a discussion about house prices, which I'm going to do a video on, by the way. I'm going to do a video all about how properties are valued and how they are priced. That's not a stupid question, Pop Popple. Sorry, I was just seeing questions popping up everywhere and I'm losing my track. There's no way of knowing that a property changes its value in 7 days. There's no day-to-day price ticking tracker of individual properties. Okay, property values are quite nebulous. In fact, this is one of the reasons that I say to people that your choice of agent is crucial when you're selling, because your property may or may not be worth a certain amount, but whether or not you get that price for your property depends on the agent that you choose. Better agents get higher prices. That is a cold, hard fact that all first-time sellers need to know. Better agents will get you a higher price than average or crap agents. Okay? Please, if I've learned one thing working alongside estate agents in 25 years, it's that, right? Crap agents can sell a property, but they won't be getting you the best price you could have got for it. It's just a fact, okay? Getting you the very best price, especially in a difficult market, takes real skill and knowledge. Tom Mortimer, hi, I'm a first-time buyer with a help to buy equity loan. Should I proceed with the exchange? I have a 5-year fix with a 2.5% interest rate. Tom, it depends on the price. So it also depends on how much you want to buy, which actually brings me on to the last point I want to make on this video, which is how to make a decision when you're faced with a dilemma like this one. So I don't know exactly what the terms are about the valuation, but I would be saying to the seller, please can we revisit the price on this property given the market turmoil? Because otherwise I might be in negative equity even 5 years from now. So I can't say yes or no, should you proceed, right? I cannot answer that question for anyone. Only you can make the decision whether or not you should proceed, because you're weighing up two different categories of factors. You're weighing the purely financial factors, and then there are the non-financial factors about how hard you need to, how much you want to be in a property for life reasons, relationship reasons, you've got a baby coming reasons, you're changing job reasons. All of those reasons are non-financial reasons for needing to move or to buy a place, right? You need to get out of where you're living now. You're squeezed in with family and it's driving you all nuts and it's damaging relationships. These are all reasons to go ahead and buy, okay? But you've then got to weigh it up against the financial one. So nobody can do that except for you. You've got to know your figures and you've got to work out what you think your worst case scenario is if you do buy, and ask yourself if you are comfortable accepting that risk. Because I cannot predict what house prices are going to be 5 years from now, what interest rates are going to be 5 years from now, or what your life circumstances are going to be 5 years from now, right? Nobody can predict any of those three things. So it's always a risk when you buy a property, because all of those three things can change. So what you've got to ask yourself is this a risk I'm comfortable accepting? Okay, and that's a personal choice, which is why I will never say yes you should or no you shouldn't move, other than based on, if you give me an oversimplified question, I might give you an oversimplified answer. For those of you who are really struggling with a dilemma, going, I really want to buy the property, but I really don't know if I should, and I can't make up my mind, okay? And this is a common dilemma we all find ourselves in life, with lots of different situations in life. This is how I approach that situation. I really want to do this, but I also really want to do that, and I really can't work out which is the right one. What I've always done, and this has never failed for me to help me make the decision, right, is I go, right, let's consider that each of these two choices turns out to be a mistake. Which is the worst mistake? Which is the one so if it's about buying a house, right, and the mistake is, should I buy it or not buy it? Well, which one would you regret more? Would you regret buying it and then wishing you hadn't? Right? Imagine that scenario. Imagine you buy a house, you move in, and then you wish you hadn't bought it. Or would you regret not buying it and wishing you had? Now that's a personal choice for everybody, okay? But that is a very effective way of working out what you should do. Because usually when you compare those two regrets or mistakes and go, which would be the bigger regret, which one would be the bigger mistake, that normally gives you your answer, all right? So if having your home repossessed 2 or 3 years from now and being saddled with the 15 or 20% of the value of you paid for it as a debt around your neck through no fault of your own is something that is something you're not prepared to accept, I would say don't buy right now, because prices are coming down as sure as the sun is rising tomorrow. house prices are going to come down, all right, in the mainstream properties. Right, a couple more questions then, and then I've only got 5 minutes, and then I've got to go. I did answer gluten-free. Okay, so 50 new messages. Ooh, so many. Right to buy council houses. I think those are always a good buy because you're getting a big discount anyway. I don't know how they put the price or the value on those, but you can talk to whoever does the value and say, look at what's happening in the news. Can we please reconsider the value? But I think the opportunity, the right to buy in a council house is a cracking opportunity if you get it. Popple, what was your question again? Samantha, estate agents who offers over a lying. Yeah, I've actually I've had someone tell me that they've made an offer on a property that was below asking price, and the agent has said, "Oh, we've got offers over asking price." And I said to them, if they had offers over asking price already, the agent wouldn't be asking you for an offer. So there are agents out there who will barefaced lie to you about the fact they've got other offers and you've got to offer over. They're doing their job. Doesn't mean it's okay for them to lie. But if they're still asking you for an offer, it means they don't have other offers, right? Or it means they're trying to get yours to get another offer up as well. Those are the things that can happen. But if you like a property and you want to make an offer of it, just disregard all of the, oh, we've got offers over asking price, you've got to offer asking price. Just disregard it, hear it, and just go, okay, there's my offer. That's it. Take it or leave it. And, if they have got other offers, then you won't get it. And if they haven't, then you will. People say our deposits will be eaten by inflation. Is that something to really worry about if prices are falling? No. Inflation is, let's just say your deposit is 20% of the value of the property you're buying, right? If it's, let's just easy numbers. You're buying something for £100,000. You've got a £20,000 deposit, and inflation is 10%. It means that a year from now, your deposit will be worth 18,000 instead of 20,000. I mean, it'll still be 20,000, but house prices are going to come down faster than inflation eats your deposit, if that makes sense. All right, so I wouldn't worry about that. If you've got a deposit money and you're going to get a large mortgage, you don't need to worry about inflation eating your deposit. If house prices are falling. Rasheen Walsh says, if prices are falling, does that mean properties with offers already accepted will be down valued by lenders? Yes, that is happening already. Richard Evans says, I was about to put my house on the market as I'm moving in with my partner soon, so do not need to buy another property now. Do you think I should sell now or hold on to it and rent it out? Hold on to it and rent it out. Richard, if your need is instant, like decide now, hold on to it, rent it out. Right now is not going to be a good time to sell it. I don't know what your longer term plans are. It's a more involved conversation, but trying to sell now is going to be very, very difficult. That's why I would say that if you rent it out now, you just hold it for the long term, you're going to get good rental income on it, and then you've got all options open later on down the line. Great question, John Truebridge. If you found your dream house today, what percent lower than asking price, I assume you mean, would my offer be? Okay, I get this question a lot as well, and let me help you with that. It doesn't matter what the asking price is. Your offer should never be based on a percentage of asking price. Your offer should be based on, with your knowledge of local property prices and your feel for what's happening in the property market, what is the price you feel you'd be very comfortable proceeding to buy it at, in the knowledge that the housing market's coming down. That's a personal choice, because if it's your dream house, you might very well be prepared to pay a premium for it. If it was in normal times a 200 grand house and you loved it and you knew there were other people buying it, but you'd fall in love with it, you might be happy to pay 210,000, right? Does it mean it's worth 210,000? Who knows? It's just that's what's worth to you. So, John, the answer is, figure out the price that property is worth to you, that you're comfortable you can afford, and offer it. It almost doesn't matter what the asking price is. Yes, so many variables. And that I want to just, I've got to go. I've got to wrap up, guys. Back to the money markets, right? Any one thing like reversing a tax cut is one thing on a list of so many things that are affecting the money markets, the economy, and politics right now. There is so much going on. There are so many factors. It's a swirling mass. So it's so hard to see what's going to happen now. But the one thing I can tell you is that uncertainty is off the scale. Volatility in the money markets is off the scale. And it's going to be a while until things calm down. So if you are not in a hurry, and if you're not about to lose out on your dream home that you can afford, I would just take a breath and hold off. Prices are really falling. They are really falling right now. I promise you guys. Even if you don't understand that, you will see history will show me to be right. It's a mathematical certainty. Prices are falling. When 60% of mortgage products are just taken off the shelves, that's effectively like taking 60% of the buyers away. And all the people who need to sell are having to drop their prices. Prices are falling. It's a mathematical certainty. Whatever you might be seeing on asking prices, whatever estate agents are telling you, guys, prices are falling. That's my view anyway. Don't forget to go and say hi to Russell Quirk on Twitter and let him know that whether you think I'm dangerous or not. Be nice to him. Please do not anyone do anything personal. Just tell him what you think about my stuff, because I'd love that support. And otherwise, have a great night. I've got to go or I'll be in real trouble with my kids. I promised them I'd be there at 7:45. I'm already a minute late. Mwah. Big kisses to everybody. Hugs for anyone who'd like them. And sleep well. Keep calm. The sun will keep rising tomorrow. Life will find a new normal and everything's going to be okay. Thanks, guys. Have a good night. Bye.